You may notice that some people, including professors, reviewers, and other editors, respond to your writing digitally. Usually, digital responses use two features of your word processor: track changes or comments. Sometimes, reviewers will use both. In this brief video, I will first show you how to use these features in Pages, a word processing software program for Mac, and in Word, which is a word processing software program for Windows. It may be useful to keep the reviewer's marked up draft as its own file so that you can always return to it and compare your work to the reviewer's thoughts and comments. For example, before you start accepting and rejecting changes and comments, resave the file so it is a new file. Now you have two files, one with the reviewer's comments and one that you can work off of, deleting and revising as you go without fear of losing reviewers' feedback in case you want to look at it again later. First, let's look at Pages. I'm going to save a new copy so I have a new workspace. You'll notice that across the top of the file is a toolbar. There's a little sticky note icon labeled Comment. By putting your cursor at a line of text or highlighting a phrase in the text, you can add a comment about that section. You'll notice information is already in the comment box. This is a timestamp and sometimes includes the name of the person to whom the software is licensed. This lets readers know who made the comment and when, but if you're reviewing someone else's writing, you can always delete this timestamp information by highlighting it and pressing delete or backspace on your keyboard. Then feel free to type in a comment. If you're reading someone else's comments, or if you've made a comment you don't like, you can delete the comment. Typically, the writer will delete a comment after reading and assessing the usefulness of that comment. Sometimes it's best to leave a comment in until it has been addressed. Now, track changes is a little more difficult to find. You'll have to go up to the Edit pull-down menu and select the Track Changes option. You'll notice the Files toolbar slightly changes to reflect some of the things a user can do with the Track Changes feature turned on. Notice that typing into the text makes the track changes kick into action. The new text is in a different color, and a bubble pops up on the side of the screen showing that something has changed and calling readers' attention to the change. To accept the change, click on the check mark in the right-hand corner of the Changes bubble. This makes the bubble disappear and changes the new text to the same color as the original text. It's as if the change never happened. Let's say you don't like the change though. Simply click on the X in the upper right-hand corner of the Changes bubble to reject the change. You'll notice the changes to the text disappear too, and the text goes back the way it was. Sometimes a reviewer will use track changes to show things she would like the writer to remove from the text. Changes that include removing text are shown by what's called a strike-through. The text your reviewer wants you to remove appears to be crossed out and is in a new color in contrast with the rest of the text. A track changes bubble appears and you have the same option to either accept or reject the change. By clicking on the arrow in the lower right-hand corner of the track changes bubble, writers can see what the text will look like if they choose to accept the suggested change. Now, let's take a look at a reviewed document with comments and track changes in Word. I'm using a version of Word that might be a little older than yours, so you may have to look around through the toolbars to find the right areas. Additionally, I'm using a version of Word crafted specifically for Mac, so it may look a little different than your version. Bear with me, the tools are still there, but they might be labeled differently or housed in different areas. First, I'm going to start by saving a copy as something I can work on without fear of losing my reviewer's comments. The same types of tool apply as with Pages. However, in Word, both track changes and comments are found in the Review tab on the toolbar. The comments look like the same yellow sticky note. Unlike Pages, users aren't able to delete the timestamp on comments easily, but everything else is the same, including the deleting X in the top right-hand corner of the comment bubble. You might also put your cursor in the comment you want to delete and click the sticky note with the X in the top left corner of your screen in the Review menu. Now, Track Changes looks a bit different than it does in Pages. Turn Track Changes on and start typing. Text is added in a new color, but a bubble showing the change only pops up when something is deleted. Both additions and revisions will also come up with a line on the left-hand side of the screen. It is unprofessional to leave these lines on the screen once a writer has finished revising a document. Track changes should be fully removed before uploading or printing a final copy, or else these lines will remain on the page. In order to accept or reject a revision, a writer cannot just delete or accept a track changes suggestion. Instead, the writer must go up to the toolbar and click on either Accept or Reject one at a time or en masse when possible. Accepting changes this way will remove the indicator lines on the left side of the screen. Those are the basic ways to use the track changes and commenting features in two prevalent word processors, Pages and Word. Other word processors also use these features, but they may be a bit different. Users should take the information in this video as a starting point and look for the transferable components when using a variety of word processors and across various versions of each word processor.